Good morning, my friends. It is Thursday, which means it's my favorite day of the week because I get to hang out with you guys, and I am super stoked about today's conversation. So stoked that I just hit my microphone for the first, but definitely not last time this week. I wanted to show you guys this cute little sweatshirt before we get started. It's obviously kind of Christmassy because of the ornaments, but we also have some coquette in here. We have some nice pastel colors that kind of relate back to the conversation we had last week about some trending colors in 2026. Ironically, I made this at the end of 2024 and I'm still wearing it today because it is a crisp, I think the last time I looked at it was 14 degrees where I live outside. And I have windows that don't have very good, I don't know if ventilation is the right word. It seems to be venting just fine because I literally feel a cold breeze like coming into my office. Right here is my window. You guys can't see it, but it's literally right there. So anyways, I am freezing to say the least. So that's why I am bundled up. I actually have a blanket on my lap right now. So I would love to hear from you guys. It's January. Where are you guys tuning in from? I used to live, born and raised, as some of you know, in Florida, around like the Tampa area. And I lived in Florida until I was around 21 or 22 before I moved out to a couple of other states before I came to Michigan. And I remember like February is when we were like at Disney. Like we were already out in the world, sun outside. It was awesome. I looked at the weather today for my mom and sister, who are both in Orlando, and I sent them a little text, a little joke that I was like praying for you guys today because it's like 30s and 40s this week in Orlando, Florida. So I would love to hear from you guys. Where are you tuning in from? What's the weather like? Do I have anybody who is as cold as I am, or are you enjoying the sunshine unlike me and my family today? Let me know where you're tuning in from. And we're going to go ahead and jump in just a second because we have a lot to cover today. However, I do want to go over a short little piece of housekeeping because we have some super awesome things coming up in the month of January. Kate just said she's in Connecticut and freezing. Little vintage cottage. They're in Washington State. And she said it's actually been pretty nice in January, being like the 40s, which is funny because like 40s to me was like Arctic before I moved to Michigan. Now, -2 is like the norm. so that's crazy. I see someone also coming from Fort Lauderdale and it's 68. Beautiful. I used to love Lottie. My good Lord, my mom and my stepdad actually lived in Lauder Hills for a long time, about 5 years or so. So I loved going down there. We also have Sharon Alicia from Puerto Rico. And I am so jealous because that's actually where I spent my 30th birthday. I freaking love Puerto Rico. And I might be polarizing you guys before we even start today, but I'm very excited about the Super Bowl halftime show this year because Bad Bunny is one of my favorite artists of all time. So glad you said that. We got some mild weather in Newfoundland. That sounds wrong. Newfoundland? Canada? I know I said that wrong. I'm so sorry. We've got some Erie, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Connecticut again. And then we even have someone today from India. Tell me, what is your weather like in India? I'm sure it is nothing compared to what we're experiencing right now. Or maybe we like flip flop. Maybe it's summer for you guys, but it's winter for you guys when it's summer for us. Let me know. I'd love to hear from you. But like I mentioned, we have a lot of really, really freaking cool stuff that's happening in January before the month ends. So we have like two and a half weeks left. So wanted to let you guys know if you haven't seen it already. A couple weeks ago, I had Chris Meets as a guest speaker on our channel, and he was the CEO and founder of Anywhere POD. We spent about an hour or so, a little bit over an hour, going over the features of like automation and AI and how they put basically everything you need in like one app through what's called again, Anywhere POD. So that was a conversation we had about 3 or 4 weeks ago. So, because of that conversation, I decided let's go ahead and get some tutorials live for you guys on our channel. So, I would love for you to check their channel out too, but like to make it as easy as possible on my friends here in my community, I wanted to give you guys some tutorials of their platform and how it like so easily syncs with EverBee Store and Etsy. So, I went ahead and dropped part one of a two-part tutorial series for Anywhere POD on Tuesday of this week, so 2 days ago. So if you haven't seen that yet, it doesn't have as many views as we usually do. And I think that's strictly just because Anywhere POD is so unknown, but it is a secret weapon for those who do know about it. So highly, highly recommend if you have the opportunity. Part one went live on Tuesday. So after this live stream, if you have a moment, feel free, go ahead and check that out. And then we also have part two going live on January 27th. So we're going to skip a week. So it's going to be like Anywhere POD part one was this Tuesday, next Tuesday, Anywhere POD part two, right? So on the 27th of January, you guys can be ready to see part two of that tutorial series. And I have a little call to action in that video that basically says, if you want me to personally tag you in part two, drop the word anywhere in the comments of that video. So if you want to be someone who gets tagged in part two, instead of having to remember January 27th at 11 a.m., you know what to do once you watch that video. Okay. So that's one little thing I wanted to let you guys know to be on the lookout and be excited for the rest of this month. The second thing that I am like uber excited about is we just launched, I want to say it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I don't know the exact date, but like basically let's just call it the beginning of 2026. We launched a new onboarding process for EverBee Store. And basically it was launched because we heard some comments and some request and some feedback for EverBee Store. A lot of people were saying things like, I just don't know what to do. I don't know how to bring in external traffic. I don't even know like what I should sell, like what kind of copy I should be using, etc. So anyways, we built something that's pretty freaking amazing. And I say we lightly because I did not build it, but the production team, the dev team has been working so tirelessly for the past like 90 days or so to build a thing for you guys that's literally called the EverBee Store Done For You plan, or that's what I'm calling it. It doesn't really have a name, but it is literally a done for you option where you get to select from 5 or 6 of our pre-selected high converting niches that are doing super well on Etsy. So then we decided to add it to EverBee Store. Things like travel and outdoors, family and couples, pets, humor and memes. There's a couple others. I forgot them already, but those are some that you can expect to see. And basically you choose one of those. So if you don't have an EverBee Store yet, or you want to build a second one, because that's what I did, then you can literally choose from one of those pre-selected niches. And then EverBee Brain, which is the AI of the EverBee Store platform, EverBee Brain is going to get to work to build out 20 products for you. So not only is it going to build the foundation of your website, which we already had, that was already a thing. So you had your home, your shop page, your catalog that was empty, by the way. It was empty. It was like only placeholders for products. And then you had your like About Us page, which was also kind of a placeholder. So that's kind of what EverBee Store was before, since last May. It had like the foundation for you, and then you can build and customize it in your own way. Now, however, if you want to go the DFY route, or again, if you wanted to build a secondary one with the DFY route, you're going to have your homepage, you're going to have your shop page, and then you're going to have your About Us. But in the shop page, you're also going to have 20 high converting built for you designs and product listings and descriptions in the product, literally anything ready to go for you so that you can build off of something that's already pretty much destined to win. And then you get to customize it, and that's where the fun comes in. So I say all of that because I'm super excited about it, of course, but we are doing a tutorial for it next Tuesday. So I won't lie to you, it's a little bit longer of a video. It's like 25 to 30 minutes because I got a lot of stuff to talk about, and it's a brand new thing that I got to show you guys step by step to not annoy you and or not give you enough information where you're more confused. But the good news is it's a regular video. It's going to go live on Tuesday at 11 a.m. and you then have the ability to pause it, to fast forward it, to rewind it, to restart it, whatever you need to do to make that happen for yourself. So if that sounds like something you guys are interested in, feel free to comment on this live stream or even in the comments below this live stream if you're watching the replay, DFY. Do that for me. And then I'm going to try, hopefully, I'm going to take some screenshots of all of the people who were interested. And then I'll try to reach out to you next week if I can, of course, if I can find you on our Facebook group. But again, if not, that goes live next Tuesday at 11 a.m. My last thing before we dive into my exciting training, hopefully exciting, it's exciting for me at least. My exciting training for today is January 29th. So that is 2 Thursdays from today. So not next Thursday, but 2 weeks from today, we are going to have someone that I am so freaking excited. I just got it finalized last Friday. I've been working on this one for a while. Super, super excited to have a product manager from Kittle coming to our channel on Thursday, January 29th. And why you're gonna want to tune in for that, why it's going to be so important for you is Kittle is like Canva, Photoshop, and Adobe, what's it called? Adobe. Oh my God, I can't think of the name of it. Yep, it's gone. It's gone out of my head. Anyways, 3 really big design platforms that are basically built into one and also has extreme AI capabilities and extreme scalability capabilities, which basically means if you have one design for one niche, you can go into Kittle within a literal couple of seconds and scale that design out for a multitude of other niches. So it's a really, really exciting platform. I've personally been using Kittle for the past 3 years in my business. Even unrelated to print on demand and Etsy, I actually use sometimes to build logos for my small business clients. I sometimes help build like trade show banners if they're going to be doing a trade show and they need like a step and repeat behind them for their photos and such. So Kittle is just something that I've used forever. And we now have the opportunity to finally partner with them and talk about them on this channel. So highly recommend. In 2 weeks, I better see you guys at 10 a.m. again, because I'm going to have their face of their YouTube channel on ours, and I'm super stoked about it. So I know that was a lot of housekeeping, but wanted to make sure that you were aware that we got a lot of really cool stuff coming up for the rest of this month before I dove into today's conversation. So as always, during our conversation, Adobe Firefly, Tyrone was like, is that the one you're thinking about? That's a good one. But that's not the one I was thinking of. And I, for the life of me, cannot figure out the name of the design platform that I wanted to do. But anyways, it's a really good one, and I hope you guys will join me. So for today's conversation, we have, I don't want you to hate me. Don't get mad. Don't get mad. Get glad. It's really, really important. But when you see something that says Illustrator, Mila Bartos just said Illustrator. Thank you. Adobe Illustrator is what I was looking for the past 5 minutes. Anyways, I need to close these comments, y'all, because y'all know I cannot focus if I keep looking at what you're saying to me. So what I'm saying is I don't want you to get upset with me because when you see something like marketing masterclass or masterclass in marketing, your minds, because my mind did too, like 5 years ago, your minds might automatically be going to the space of, oh, hell yeah, she's going to teach me about social media. We're going to learn about paid ads today. We're going to learn about influencers, maybe. Like, maybe that's where your brain is going. Or maybe you're even thinking like Etsy ads. Maybe we're going even more granular, and like that is where your mind is going. And while that is not wrong, those are correct things. There are things that we have to do before we ever get there. So that's why I said, don't be mad at me. But today we are actually doing part 1 of a 2-part training. Our second part is going to go live next Thursday. So I hope that I see all of you guys. Let me bring this down a little bit. I hope that I see all of you guys at next Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern for part 2 of this, because today we are going to go over the foundation and the fundamentals. And then we're going to go over like 2 to 3 different marketing types. There's about 6 types that I want to go through in total. And then I'm going to save the fun 3 for next week. So this is going to basically be a 2-hour masterclass, give or take, because I've been talking for about 15 minutes now, a 1 hour and 45-minute masterclass that's going to happen a little bit today and a little bit next week. But you're going to need these fundamentals and this foundation in order to make next week really work for you. Okay. So as always, like I mentioned a second ago, your girl has ADHD. I cannot look at the comments while I'm going through this, or I will never get through this. We will be here for 4 hours together. I don't know about you guys, but I have a call at 11:30. So I am not able to go back and forth for too long. So what I'm going to do is after I finish every section, if you've been here before, this is not new news to you whatsoever. But after we finish every section, I'm going to check the comments, because what I want you guys to do is, as I am going through each of these sections today, I want you to double tap. I want you to say, yes, I believe that. I agree with that in the comments or the live chat of this section. I want you to say, I don't know what the F that means. Please elaborate. I want you to give me your questions, your concerns, your thoughts, your agreements, whatever it is. That live chat is your baby for the next 45 minutes. And I'm going to split up each section by checking the live chat. So if you guys have anything you want me to go over in each of the sections, don't wait until the end. I will be doing it as we go throughout. Okay. So with that said, let's go ahead and dive in. But I forgot one last little thing. I speak too much. I'm so sorry. One last little thing is you're going to find this document that we're going over today, as always, in the description of this video. Not the live chat, but below this live stream that you're watching, it should be the second line. So if you want to go ahead and open that baby up, feel free, and then you can follow along. You can take notes, whatever you want to do. Or you can just listen to me and open it up when we get done. Whatever you want to do, but it's in the description right now if you do want to grab it. All right. So first up, I want to talk about the good and bad of bringing in external traffic. Because when I put masterclass in marketing, I wasn't talking about on-site marketing. On-site marketing is I don't want to say easy by any means, because of course, you have to understand SEO. You have to hopefully be utilizing EverBee research if you have an Etsy shop to find those keywords or those long tail key phrases that could benefit you. But today we're going to be talking about external traffic. So offsite. So people are over here in the world and we want to bring them here. We want to bring them to our home, our world, right? So what are the bad things about potentially not utilizing external traffic in your business? First of all, I put relying on Etsy, but literally relying on any platform to be the determinant of how your business is going to flow is bad. I hate to say it, if that's what you've been dealing with or relying on for super long, not that you're bad, not that your business is bad, but it will come to a point where you are no longer in control, potentially. And we want you to always be in control, because then you can know what's coming. You know exactly what your year looks like. A couple of weeks ago when the new year started, I went through a income planning masterclass, if you want to call it, whatever, training with you guys. And I told you that over the past 4 years, I have not only hit, but exceeded my pretty large income goals every single time. And it's because I planned, and it's because I did not rely on somebody else or something else to own my business or direct the course of my business. I did all of that. So when we think about algorithm changes, policy updates on Etsy, which literally happens, I swear, every 3 months, maybe less, and even account suspensions. Guys, I'll give you a little note here. In May of 2022, I started it was April, I guess, but April of 2022, I started my business online, and I quit my full-time job. We'll just say that, because I'd been working online since 2017, but as a side hustle. So in April 2022, I was like, peace out, Girl Scout. I'm doing this on my own and hoping for the best. May of 2022, I got on TikTok, and within less than 30 days, I hit 60,000 followers because of the content that I was doing. And I was like, oh my God, I figured this online business thing out. This is going to be a piece of cake. Woo, everything is great. July of 2022, my account got shut down. So I had reached 90,000 followers at that point, and I had nothing else. I had no Instagram. I had like an Upwork and a Fiverr, of course, but like audience building, client procurement, it was gone. I literally had nothing, and I had to beg TikTok to let me have it back. And it took them about a month and a half to allow me to have my account back. But at that time, I was struggling. I was like, where are these people at if I can't be on this platform? So that's not what I want for you guys. That's something that literally happened to me. And I know a lot of people in my circle that it's happened to as well on other platforms, on other marketplaces that they've been. And they really were only on that. They put all of their bread in that one basket, and it showed, and they struggled for months afterwards to start building the additional. So thinking about how that could benefit, or excuse me, disbenefit, not benefit you guys. And then we also have to think about when we're bringing in external traffic, another thing, which I don't think is bad. I think this is a really, really good thing, but it might seem bad to you at first, is you're going to have a lot of skills, or you're going to have to go get a lot of skills, or you're going to have to pay people who have the skills to make this happen. So that's why I put that bringing in external traffic can be skill/capital dependent. What capital dependent means is if I need to do paid ads to get traffic externally, or even let's call it Etsy ads internally, you need to pay for those. So that's capital dependent, right? So these might be some things that you're like, I don't think I can do external traffic because X, Y, and Z. Upfront work, and you own the results, good and bad. I kind of want to pair those two together because, again, this might be something that you're afraid of right now. Like if I do this for 90 days and I commit to this for 90 days and I do all the quote unquote work to do it, I put all of the upfront work in to start bringing in external traffic and stop relying on Etsy's algorithm or whatever it may be. Like, what if it doesn't work? And then you are responsible for that. Like, you're the one who made it happen or didn't make it happen. And that's scary. That's a lot of responsibility. So I can totally understand where that might be a fear that you're having as well, why external traffic might be at the absolute bottom of your priority totem pole. But getting listings up on Etsy is at the top of your priority totem pole. What I want to do today is find a way to bring those a little bit closer together and make you feel less of a fear behind that. The other thing that's kind of quote unquote bad about external traffic is it does take a little bit of time to build. So there's delayed gratification. And in a world where dopamine hits are as easy as opening your phone and seeing a notification, it is like really, really hard for us to feel warranted to do something from experience. Trust me, I deal with this every day. It's really, really hard to invest in something, especially if you're investing money, but like if you're investing time, which is the most expensive currency, in my opinion, if you're not getting that gratification, that instant, yes, this is working right there. However, on the other side of those potentials that might be a little fearful for you right now is the good. When you bring external traffic, you are in control. So that means that you are bringing in higher quality buyers because you are speaking to them, which we're going to talk about in a second. Don't worry. You're speaking to them in a way that they need to be spoken to get them to your wherever it is, your shop, your online store, your coaching program, your YouTube channel, like literally whatever it is, it's higher quality people coming in because you're the one driving them. There's also some predictability and scalability. Like I mentioned a second ago, I know exactly what I need to do on a daily basis because of the training that we had a couple weeks ago. Like I know exactly what my historicals were, and I know exactly what months are the highest and months are the lowest. So I know exactly what to do 60 days before all of those months. And that is what I want you guys to be able to have the clarity and the predictability on as well. Also, there's better margins when you bring your own people in, because especially if you can excel at organic or owned media, which we're going to go over today. We're going to go over organic next week, but owned media today. If you can have the opportunity to do that and bring people to you physically, then it's going to cost you a lot less money, right? Because you're not having to pay for ads to get them here. Or maybe you're not having to pay for the time to do 100 different niches on Etsy and have a general store. and hope that any of them actually work. So we got some things that I might have, in your system right now that's a little fearful, that might be holding you back from external marketing over the past couple of months, maybe even years. But we also have some really, really good things that hopefully is encouraging you guys to make this happen. Okay. We're going to talk about how to make it happen going forward. All right. So where does traffic come from? There are a couple more than this, but these are the ones that are most important in my opinion. And to be honest, you can focus on like 1 to 2 of them at a time. I personally am able to focus on all 6 of them at once, simply because I've been doing this for 5 years in this exact business. However, it took me about 5 years to figure out how to build the systems to make these 6 happen. So I'm not going to go through all of this. You guys have eyes, you can read, and you also hopefully have the document open up on your other screen right now. But the 6 that we are going to spend time talking about today and next week are going to be word of mouth traffic. So that means you are basically, people are talking about you for you, right? So think about that and a couple of different examples of what that could look like here. Then we have physical, and that literally means like I am with you physically. So we're at trade shows. You're popping up at craft fairs. You're going to boutiques and giving them your business card, whatever it is, right? That's your physical. Then we have owned digital, organic digital, and paid digital. And a lot of people skip owned. They think owned digital is organic digital, but that's not true, because owned digital means you actually own it. And if an algorithm were to go away tomorrow or screw up your entire business model, that's organic, and it kind of doesn't matter because you got your owned on lock. Okay, so we'll go over that in just a second. And then current customers is probably the easiest money that you could ever make. I have a repeat client, which is insane, by the way. This is like unheard of. In the year of 2025, I had a repeat client or returning client rate of 79%. And that is across everything that I offer. And it was simply because I gave them a good experience and they got good results from whatever I gave them. So they came back. And they came back again, and they came back again. There has only been, I think in 2025, I just did the math the other day because I had to for my business, for my accountant. I think it was like 11 people all year long did not come back a second time or more. So if you assume that I have 200-ish clients a year in some capacity, that's a really, really good margin of people that just didn't come back, right? So that's going to be the easiest one. And we're going to talk about that one actually next week. Today, like I mentioned, will be part 1. We're going to talk about knowing your customer, the foundations, and then we're also going to get into the first 3 different types of traffic. And then next week, we're going to get into organic, paid, and current customers, because my goal is, because of what we talk about today, organic, paid, and current will be so much easier to understand and implement immediately. All right. So first off, as it relates to bringing in traffic, the most important thing that you guys can do has nothing to do with the platform, has nothing to do with the marketing plan, has nothing to do with flyers, nothing to do with Etsy ads, copywriting. It has everything to do with your customers. And this is why it's very, very difficult for me as a mentor to a bunch of you. It's really, really difficult for me to recommend a general store, simply because you don't know your customers, unfortunately. You have to know your customers, or else you cannot speak to them. And these are the things that you're going to need to know about your customers, what they're trying to solve right now. So like, what are they, whoever they are, experiencing? And just so you know, if you do want to go the general store route, it's fine. I know people that have made millions doing that. So it's not a problem at all. However, just imagine if we have 6 different types of external traffic drivers, and you have, let's just do easy math, you have 5 different niches whom you are hitting in a general store. Those 5 people need to be spoken to in different ways, and maybe even different seasons of the year. And that means you basically have 30 times the amount of marketing efforts that a specified or niche store owner would have. Okay, so just think about that and ruminate on that. We also want to understand what they've tried already that didn't work, what they're afraid of wasting. You know, if you sell t-shirts, for example, they're of course afraid of wasting time if the shirt comes in and it doesn't fit them right. They're, of course, not interested in wasting money. So what does that look like for you guys? And then what success actually looks like to them. And success doesn't mean like, oh, I made X number of dollars this year. Success could be as simple as feeling sexy in the shirt that you got from your seller, from the store, right? So whatever that looks like to them. And then what would make them say this, whatever this is in your life is exactly, or in your business, excuse me, is exactly for me. So those are the things that you need to know in order to communicate appropriately. So knowing your customer means you can write content for them that makes them feel like you're talking directly to them. You can also create offers and products that sell without having to convince them, because you know them and they're like, oh yeah, heck yeah, I love that. I'm going to show you guys an example. So weird and so lame, but my friends know that I am weird. I'm very weird. And I like horror. And instead of Christmas, I like Krampusnacht, however you say that word. So my friend just got me this little Krampus the other day. And it's so weird. And it like would not make sense. Look at his little head. It's so cute. It would not make sense at all to give this to somebody else that does not care about Krampusnacht or Krampus Night, if you want to call it that. So if the fact that she saw this and knew it was for me and bought it, that's almost like word of mouth and an actual sale in one, right? So this is like a product or an offer that doesn't need convincing, because you know that your audience resonates with it so deeply, and or someone that they know resonates with it so deeply, which helps build trust with you and makes immediate impulse purchase with you rather than your competitors. So what I always say is clarity is going to be much more important than volume all day long. And this goes into organic and paid media as well, which we'll get into next week. But you don't need to post more content. You don't need to send more emails. You need to understand your person and get the clarity on those pieces of content, on those emails, and then send out what that person actually needs in volume. Okay. Hope that makes sense. I wanted to show you just also a quick example. So this is literally 2 screenshots of my 2 Instagram accounts. You can see there's a very big discrepancy in followers, to say the least. So over, almost 20,000 followers on one account, and I think less than 400. Is that right? Yeah, less than 400 on another account. It's the exact same content, by the way, the exact same. I literally just not copy and paste the content, but I collaborate with both of my accounts, and it's the same content. But the account on the left has made me so much more money than the account on the right did. And that's simply because the account on the right was initially built with volume and virality in mind, and the account on the left was built with clarity of my ideal audience in mind. Okay? Hope that makes sense. All right. So the last thing I wanted to show you real fast, I just realized I didn't do this, but I will. I promise when we get done with this, I will go do this. Bringing in traffic. Knowing your customers. So I actually did a 2-part, this was like 7 months ago, but I did a 2-part live stream of how to know your customers. We go so in depth on this. It's almost, as you can see, 51 minutes plus 44 minutes. It's almost 2 hours long, just about your foundation of your business. So I did 2 different live streams that I promise when I get done with this, I will link them in the description of this video and maybe even put them in the comments as well, for you to come back to and take a look at, because those are going to be really huge to hopefully consume. If you didn't join the live stream when it took place a couple months ago, it's going to be really helpful to consume this before we chat next Thursday. Okay. So I'll link it in there soon. So let's start with our first type of traffic. We've got word of mouth. Now, when you think word of mouth, you might be thinking like, oh, a referral, right? So like I met up with my girlfriend, Melissa, and I told her about Kathy's t-shirt line. Like I'm referring Melissa to Kathy, right? But it's not really people talking about you or referring people to you per se. It is people recommending you when their other person has a problem of sorts that your solution or product or offer helps them with. It's very simple. If we can just change that in our minds a little bit, of word of mouth is not just a referral or loyalty based system. It's actually how do we own word of mouth in our own sphere and then make dang sure that people are speaking about our brand in the way that we expect them to, and that will help us generate money. However, people cannot recommend you unless your solution, your product, your offer, or your audience is clearly defined. They just can't, because it might get a little confusing to explain, or be like, especially a general store, they're going to maybe this is actually, let's go through a quick scenario. What could happen is someone who enjoys my little Krampus guy, someone who enjoys this gets this little guy, right? And they're like, oh my God, where'd you get that? And I'm like, dude, I got this from Krampus treats.com. I don't know. I'm just coming up with something as I go. But let's say, like, you got to check it out. It's so cool. They have adorable things like this. They have adorable t-shirts, adorable crew necks, all related to Krampusnacht. And then the person goes to the store because they like trust that person that gave them the rec, right? They go to the store and there's like, here's something else. One second, if I can get it up. There's this, which one of my mentees bought for me, which was really sweet. So it's a handmade card. It's one thing to be a business coach, another thing to be a mentor, but a completely different thing to be a caring leader and friend. Thank you for being you. So it's a handmade wooden card of sorts, right? So, it fell out. Ignore that sound. So what if they came to the thing expecting this? I'm like choking this thing. It came expecting this and they got this, right? So like that's what's on the homepage of the site or in the featured listings from Etsy. Like that's going to confuse them and they're going to lose a little bit of trust in not only you, but the person that referred them to you, right? So like your thing has to be clearly defined. And then the outcome, whatever that means, that could just be as simple as this is adorable and I love it. And it gives me like a fuzzy feeling whenever I am working, whatever it is. It could be as simple as that, or it could be as big as the mentor thing that I helped that girl make $50,000 in 1 year as a brand new freelancer. Like, does not have to be monetarily attached. The outcome is whatever you are doing, whatever you are providing, what feeling do they get after that, right? And then again, the customer, the first person, has to feel comfortable attaching their name to your business. Because like I said, if they get confused, if the person that they referred to you gets confused when they get to your business, then their name is on the line. That trust actually goes down friend to friend, not just customer to business. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So things that could help and hurt with word of mouth. So if you're someone that helps everyone, if you're someone that has a general store that can make designs of all kinds, that could hurt word of mouth. If your results or your products or your niches are hard to articulate, could hurt word of mouth. If the customer doesn't know who to send to you, which goes back to our general versus niche store idea. If you are helping 50 different niches and the person finds this and they love it and they buy it, but then when they go to your store, there's nothing else related to Krampus Night, then they're like, oh, well, I mean, I guess I could forward this like one product to my friend, but like nothing else is really applicable. So maybe I just won't, right? That could be something that's holding you guys back from that. However, ways that this works effortlessly with word of mouth is something like, this store helped me go from blank to blank. This product is perfect if you're blank and stuck with blank, or I wish I found this sooner. Even just something as simple as that. Now, what you guys might be running into right now is, what if I just sell t-shirts? I get that question all the freaking time. So I am assuming that more than likely could be running through your head right now. And if that is you, that's cool. We are going to walk through exactly how to fix this. So when we're thinking about word of mouth, we want to think about building things that are identity-based, problem-based, or moment-based. And of course, if you can find a way to do them all together, fantastic. Identity-based for a t-shirt seller could be something like, finally, a t-shirt that doesn't scream Etsy. And we all know what that means because Etsy is a copy of a copy of a copy nowadays, right? Problem-based could be soft enough to wear all day while still being able to like go out with your girlfriends and wear it at night, right? Something of that nature. Moment-based is as simple as my go-to travel shirt. I actually have this tracksuit outfit that I literally wear almost every time I fly. And I will scream it from the rooftops that everybody needs to buy one because it is the most comfy thing. And it has all these different pockets that I can put my AirPods and my chargers and such in. So that's word of mouth. But it's something that like I have experienced, and it's moment based, and it's potentially problem based too. So that's the best thing, is when you can build around all three of these in one. That's going to be super, super beneficial for you. So what I'm going to do real fast, I'm not going to make you guys do this right now by any means, but again, this is in the description, so please download it and do this in your free time. We're going to do a little word of mouth listing exercise. So the goal of this exercise is to be able to write a product description that sounds like something a real customer would say to a friend. So we are basically going to reverse engineer our product descriptions going forward, reverse engineer our copy on our website, thinking about the person who would be referring us to their friend. So it's a very easy 5-piece exercise, and you can do this. You can copy and paste this and literally do this every single time you want to list a new product. Every single time you want to talk about a new product on your social media. This is going to be something you can use literally every day, multiple times a day, because I do. Write this sentence and finish it honestly. Number 1, people don't buy this, whatever it is, because it's a blank. They buy it because blank. Number 2, this is perfect if you're someone who blanks, but you're tired of blank or blanking. Write this line. This is the product people think of when they blank, whatever that is. So again, this is the product people think of when they are looking to not have a carry-on when they travel, right? That's my tracksuit. That serves that problem. Then you want to make a 2-column list. Column A is going to be your features. So your soft fabric, your oversized fit, it's a digital download, it has neutral colors, whatever. All of that is going to go in column A. But in column B, you're going to go through each of column A and figure out what those actually mean. So soft fabric means comfortable all day long. Oversized fit means forgiving fit. Digital download could mean instant relief for someone. Neutral colors goes with everything. So I want you to think about that. So you're going to answer those first 3 questions or those first 3 statements, and then you're going to have column A of the features of your product or your offer or your service. And then column B is like, what does that actually mean? What do those invoke in someone? And last but not least, I wish I found this sooner because. So again, don't have to write this down. It's in the description of this video. But here is a quick example of what I came up with thinking about a shirt. You know that shirt that you reach for when you want to feel comfortable but still look put together? That's this one. This is perfect if you love easy outfits, but you're tired of boxy, stiff tees that never feel right. It's soft, forgiving, and works whether you're running errands, traveling, or just want something that feels like you. People don't rave about this shirt because of the fabric. They effortlessly tell their friends about it because it looks effortless. If you know someone who lives in t-shirts but also wants to feel like they could still find their tribe if they wore this shirt in public, send them this. That's a damn good description if I say so myself, because it's already putting them in the mind of being like, oh yeah, I can see that for myself, and or I feel related to, because that's me. Like, I want all of these things. I'm tired of these boxy fits. I am tired of the fabric feeling like itchy all day long. Like, I want to tell people about something that I believe in and that I actually wear, right? So that is a really good example of exactly how I used the word of mouth listing exercise, okay? So as it relates to where we want to spotlight these kinds of things. So when we talked about word of mouth earlier on, it was reviews, testimonials, case studies, UGC, couple other things that I wrote as the examples. So the first rule to remember is when you're thinking about showing these kinds of things out there in the wild, wherever that may be, social proof should never live in one place. So you don't want to put just reviews on your Etsy shop. You don't want to put reviews just on your website, your EverBee store, whatever it is. You want to put word of mouth stuff, which we're going to go over in a couple seconds what that looks like. You want to put word of mouth examples any place where doubt in your customer's mind is going to show up. And the best way to explain this even better is anytime a buyer might think, is this worth purchasing? Is this worth investing time into? Is this worth downloading? Whatever you're giving away, selling, selling, whatever it is, you got to have proof when that happens, right? So I'm not going to go over all of these, but just a couple examples of how this could work. Your product listing page is going to be the most important place to have something that relates to whether it be UGC photos, UGC videos, even just like screenshots or snippets and quotes from people, super important. It's going to be really, really big on your homepage as well. So if you have an EverBee store, or if you have a website outside of Etsy, you got to put that really early on in your homepage to convince them to continue going through the rest of your website. Obviously, we have social media, email marketing, and then post-purchase to fuel your engine for future word of mouth options. So don't just like send something in the mail to somebody and then like never talk to them again. Like how can we, and that's what we're going to talk about current customers next week. Okay. Don't worry. But like, how can we get them to already want to rave about us in the first 48 hours after they receive their product or their item, or they experienced a service with you? Here's some quick examples also. Oh, I don't know why I put own digital here. Sorry. It's supposed to be word of mouth. My apologies. But here's some examples of what I do in my own business. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. On Instagram, you'll see I have a results highlight reel. So it says results right here. This is 163 weeks ago that I posted this one, but you can also see up here that there is a lot of them. So that is giving social proof right there. That is potentially minimizing doubt right there, because someone or someone's, a lot of someone's seem to get results from Leslie. So I'll straight up just share a screenshot, give some context, pop it on my story. Another one is, this is an Instagram post example. So it's literally super boring. I was literally wearing a PJ shirt. So you can see it's like off my shoulder. I was just wearing PJs and I was like, oh my God, look at this. And I put a photo of I sent an email out for a client because I was doing their email marketing for them. I sent an email out for the client and here were their results. Here was their open rate, their click-through rate. And then we went even deeper into the caption. So this is just a normal everyday Instagram post, but it is very strategically a word of mouth piece of content. The last example is, I'm going to make this one a little bit bigger because you need to see the whole thing. The last example is, this is actually how my brands page is stacked on my own website. So what a brand page is for me is like, I offer services to brands. So that's what the brand page is. So it's like, I'm trying to convince them to work with me on their marketing strategies, right? So not only do I show screenshots of actual results experienced with me and my team, but we also have snippets of actual person reviews. So those are all examples of how you can turn word of mouth into your standard marketing plan. And this can also be very, very prevalent and easy to do on Etsy as well. All right. So with that said, guys, we are going to move on to physical really quick, but I do want to check the comments to see if I'm missing anything or if you have any questions. Dana, I'm going to call you out. Someone said, please move on. You must be new here because I talk a lot. So yeah, I hear you. This is very, very in-depth. I hope I'm not boring you guys to tears, but it doesn't seem that we have a question about word of mouth yet. I'm going to close the comments, get back to the training. But if you guys do have any word of mouth questions, feel free to ask, even if we're past it, and I will answer when I get to the next section. Okay. So the next one is smaller. All right. This is physical. And it's because physical, the reason I'm going to go over this very lightly today is physical is more so for like my handmade makers. And we have a lot of handmade people, of course, in this community, but we also have a lot of digital, a lot of service based, a lot of creators, a lot of pod peeps. So knowing that you guys might not be out there doing the physical, I'm going to go over this a little bit shorter than the other ones. So physical traffic is working best when you do sell physical products or your product is touch or feel driven. So if you have the ability, like if you have a chunky knit sweater and it's kind of hard to convey that through a photo on Etsy, it might be beneficial to join a trade show, to join a craft fair, to go to your local boutiques, blah, 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 whatever it is, it might be beneficial to have that if they need to put their hands on it. Another thing is you can get content and testimonials and word of mouth stuff really, really easy physically because you're right there in the moment building that connection with them rather than sending them a follow-up email that you hope they even see, much less respond to. Of course, if you're building local or niche loyalty as well, this is going to be super huge. Physical things, even if you are quote unquote only a print on demand seller, being able to work with local businesses who need stuff on demand is going to be potentially a really big idea and option for you guys. I think I've said this before, but I wanted to make sure that I bring it up again for you. I work with local small businesses in my area. I have 3 main clients and then a couple other trickle in. Some of these people are digital as well, which means they're national, right? So I work with them nationally and I do print on demand promo items for them. So if someone's going to a trade show, we'll use my little thing as an example. EverBee is going to a trade show and they want their employees to be wearing the same outfit. This shirt, right? This is a print on demand shirt that I personally made utilizing EverBee's print on demand software. That is something that not necessarily this, but as an example, I could have sold this and shipped it to my client, which basically means I am working in a niched space. So I am selling print on demand to small business owners, but I'm not doing it on a product per product basis on Etsy. I'm doing it on I am serving them physically myself from start to finish with a print on demand supplier. Okay. So I hope that makes sense. However, my physical marketing is not going to be ideal if you're someone looking for scalable growth, passive, more, we put passive in quotes because you have to do the work, but like passive sales, immediate ROI, or if you want to test a bunch of stuff together at once, because it's really, really hard if you're doing something physical to bring 50 different things and get true insights into each of the 50. All right. So intentional ways that we could use physical traffic is, of course, if you go to pop-ups, and I recommend shared tables instead of solo so you can save a little bit of capital. Of course, you can go to local markets. And by the way, guys, you do not have to have a booth at these things. Let's say it's $250 to $750 just to be there on a booth. You don't have to do that, y'all. You could straight up just walk around, because I've done this in my marketing department. I have literally walked around trade shows that were related to marketing, like conferences that I've gone to, and I just have my iPad that has a quick proposal or a quick overview of Evolution Designs, and my card, which has a digital QR code on it, which allows them to connect with me when they get home. So like, you don't have to buy these tables to go to these conferences and market yourself. That's still very much so physical marketing. Another thing could be community events tied to identity. So if there is a local pet adoption, if there is a local yoga gathering, if there's a local gym that you like to go to, and the people in your audience also potentially like to go to, that could be where you show up. You print flyers, you bring cards, whatever it is. That's where that physical element can kind of come in. Okay. And then I'll leave the rest for you guys to read on your own. Physical traffic, however, this is something that's like the biggest thing that I think people are missing, is physical traffic should be sales, right? That's what people think. They're like, I'm doing something marketing wise. I'm out there in the world. I've got the person right there in front of me. I should be able to make money. Of course. Yeah, that'd be great. We should be able to feed your pockets, right? That's the third or the fifth one I have here. but it also should feed your email list. It should feed your social media content. It should feed your word of mouth, and it should hopefully allow you to show up in even more places because you have that physical interaction with someone. So if you're going to a physical event and you don't have a QR code that links back to your EverBee email opt-in form, you're doing something wrong. If you go to your local gym and you don't have like your phone with you to take photos of people with your promotional items or your products themselves, you're doing something wrong. Keeping in mind that physical traffic should feed your business in multiple ways rather than just you being physically there and or rather than just making sales. Okay. So with that said, like I said, it was going to be a little bit shorter of an option because a lot less people are going to be interested in this, but I'm going to move on to owned media next after I check the comments. Oh, thanks guys. You said not bored at all. Thanks for everything. You are so welcome, Kim. I love to see your name here like almost every week. All right. So how do you work? It's a good question. Tina said, how do you work with word of mouth when you have low traffic? Where should you start? Tina, first and foremost, I would recommend downloading that thing below because the first thing that you should start is understanding your customer like the back of your hand. You should start with the word of mouth exercise that we went over lightly today, because once you start understanding those, it's going to be so much easier to generate natural word of mouth. People are going to want to speak about you because your products make sense for them and or the people around them, and they feel like they are being spoken directly from you to them. Okay, so that's the first thing immediately that I would start with if you have low traffic. The second thing I would do is once you've got your person on lock, once you've got your products on lock, then I would start getting some UGC from people who have purchased your thing in the past and or grab some friends and send them free product, grab some family members and send them free product. But please keep in mind that the photos and or videos and or reviews that we are receiving from people is and whether it's in exchange for free product or it's a legitimate full-blown someone bought this and they have a reply about it or a review, you need to make dang sure that they match your ideal audience, because what you don't want to do is have, let's say it's a crop top that you're selling. It's a beachy crop top and you give one to your mom and your mom is 65. I mean, more power to you, like work that crop top, girl. But it might not vibe as a photo on the listing with a 65-year-old in a crop top if you're trying to sell to Gen Z in their crop tops, right? So just keeping that in mind too. So first step is know your audience like the back of your hand. Get really freaking familiar with them. Do that exercise. Look at your current product listings and be like, oh yeah, no, I can see why no one wants to talk about my stuff, because all the things that Leslie told me makes perfect word of mouth marketing happen is not here. That's another thing I would highly recommend. Then part 3, 2.5 would be to obviously start getting some word of mouth through photos, because photos, videos, like everyone says, a picture's worth 1,000 words. It's still true today, if more than ever, because you can skim over some words and even skip over them. Really, really hard to not resonate with a well done photo, user generated content. The other thing I would say too, I read this book. I've brought it up multiple times on this channel, but I'm going to bring it up again. Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller. It's beat up to say the least because I read this every year. I actually have a plan to read it next week. This is what I do every single January. Again, Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller. It is going to give you exactly what you need to know your audience like the back of your hand. So if you have time and if you like reading, that's another one I recommend. All right, guys, we are at the 10:57 mark. I have a little bit more that I wanted to go through today. However, I don't. If you guys have to get off at 11, I totally understand. We went through a lot of stuff today already. So if you're overwhelmed, that's fine. Feel free to jump off at 11, but I am going to go ahead and continue through our final piece of marketing type, which is going to be your owned media. If you guys are okay with that, and if you're able to stay, give me a thumbs up or a yes or a let's go or something in the comments. I'm going to wet my whistle real quick because I am very thirsty and I've been talking for 57 minutes straight. When I start seeing some yeses and let's goes in the comments, I will go ahead and get started with the last one if you're able to stick around with me. Whew. I needed water so bad just did. Thank you guys for giving me that break, that rest. Janae's like, I'm staying. Fantastic. Mary Murphy says, let's freaking go. Let's do it. We got a thumbs up. So again, if you are not able to stay past 7, that is totally, totally fine. This is always, this and all of the other things that we do every Thursday is always on our channel. So feel free to come back in and watch it as a regular video at any time. Okay. The last type of traffic that I want to go over today is our owned digital media. Okay. So we talked a second ago about how people usually think organic and paid. That's like where their mind naturally goes to. And while that is normal and true, we also have something that could be missed a little bit, and that's your owned media. And owned traffic is basically any audience that you can reach without asking permission from an algorithm or a marketplace. So this is going to be your Weight and Bullet says, I am overwhelmed, but I'm not giving up. So that's good. That's all we need is the commitment to learn. Fantastic. So if this is basically like your email marketing, like you own that list. And if TikTok, Instagram, Etsy died tomorrow, you would still have that list. Like there is no algorithm or any policies. Like if you break CAN spam laws, that's a different story. I wouldn't recommend doing that. Then your email will get shut down. But you guys are not doing that because you're smarter than everybody else that I know that has unfortunately fallen down that rabbit hole. So if you can contact your people directly in some way, shape, or form, that means you own them. If you cannot contact them directly without a platform and or a marketplace with algorithms, then you don't own them. So I'm going to give a little bit of caveat here because when we think about let's just say EverBee email, technically speaking, that is a platform, right? Like I'm very aware of that. However, you have to log into EverBee email to send the email, but you don't have to hope to God that they want to be there because they already said they want to be there. So Instagram is one, TikTok is one, YouTube is one, Etsy is one, Redbubble is one. Those are the ones that we don't necessarily own. Okay. Hope that makes sense. So what we're going to do is talk about how to intentionally build out owned traffic now that we know what owned is versus organic. Okay. So step 1 is you want to identify the moment of need. So why and when would your person need this item? Need this offer, need this service, need this product, whatever it is, right? So an example could be as simple as choosing the right product. There's a bunch of stuff that's on Etsy that is overwhelming them. Super easy right there. They need to choose the right product. Maybe they're feeling stuck or overwhelmed if you're a coach or if you're a creator. Maybe it's even before buying and after buying. They need you to tell them where to go and what to do, right? That's the moment of need. Or of course, when something didn't work. That moment, whatever that moment is going to be your opt-in. So that means that they experienced whatever this moment of need was. You can have different examples, so use any of mine, and then be like, this is exactly how I get them into my circle rather than having them stay on Instagram or stay on Etsy. Okay. Stick with me. We're going somewhere. We're on somewhere exciting. All right. So number 2, offer relief from that thing that they are experiencing in the moment, not more information. Offer value, not more information. Okay. So your opt-in, whatever that means, it could be a digital download. It could be 50% off your first purchase. It could be sign up for our email marketing and get 10% off your next order, whatever it is, right? You want to, let's just use Instagram because I keep talking about it. You want to use Instagram as a funnel to your owned media. So Instagram is organic media marketing. You want to get them to owned media marketing, because if you get banned from Instagram one day and you lose those 19,900 followers, that's a big freaking deal and you got to start over, sister. And I mean, I didn't lose it, thank God, but that's kind of what I had to do, because even though I had this huge, beautiful audience of people and women who I love, they were not my ideal audience. So I ended up having to literally restart. And then this new one that I have started translating into my owned media, my email, my Facebook, my free Facebook group. I'm trying to think if there's something else that I did. let's just call it that. So let's just say email and free Facebook group is where they ended up going. So your opt-in, whatever that means, again, it could literally be as simple as a freaking discount, whatever it is. It should save them time. It should potentially save them money. It should remove any confusion and reduce any risk. So if they're opting into this, it makes absolute complete freaking sense that they're doing it because it's going to benefit their life. So I said something yesterday on a coaching call, and I'm going to say it to you guys too. I was coaching a guy named Matt, who was trying to truly build an Instagram-based business. And I'm like, that's cool. I love that idea for you. However, we got to build this other stuff on the side first before we build Instagram, because there's so much more that goes into an actual business of owned media, right? So what I would highly recommend is think about, no matter what you do, whether it's posting content, sending an email, creating an opt-in, creating a digital download to like get people to opt in, thinking about a new niche you want to dive into, literally any choice that you make in your business to benefit you, okay? Whatever choice that is, I hope you're with me. The person on the receiving end of this needs to benefit at least 3 to 5 times more than you are benefiting. So I'll give you an example. If we have an opt-in form of a digital download that we're wanting people to download, right? What are we getting? What is the benefit? We are getting an email from them, which is freaking huge because now we own, that sounds bad, we own them, but like we have owned media for that person now. Now we can send them retargeting campaigns. Now we can send them more emails in the future. So that's a big benefit, but we're only getting their email address, right? So that's like the benefit for us. The 1x, let's just call it 1x. So how do I 3 to 5x the value or the benefit for the client? This needs to be huge. You need to give them 50% off their first order. That's 5 times the benefit, right? You need to give them a 50-page ebook about how to become a freelancer, which is what I did, by the way. It was 76 pages, free, completely free. And it took me a long time to build it. But like, what did I do? I got that benefit of getting like 1,000 emails because of it, which then could benefit my business in the future because I had owned their email, owned media, right? I had an owned list at that point. But they're getting a 76-page document, which is like 7 times the benefit that I originally got. So that's a little analogy that I gave to a coaching client yesterday. So I want you guys to think of that too. Anytime you want to give something out to someone for the betterment or benefit of your business, the something that you do has to be 3 to 5 times minimum the value of what you're getting in the end. Okay. All right. So the next thing we're going to do, step 3, I kind of got off track a little bit. Step 3 is we want to match the list to the product. So owned traffic should feed a very clear next step. So let's say the owned traffic opt-in is a 20% off your first purchase, right? So like you get them to opt in. Now you have the benefit of their email, but then they have the benefit of getting 20% off their next purchase. Cool. Where do they go? They need the link to the product, right? Or they need a link to your store. That's what this is. So matching the thing that was valuable to them that you're giving them so that you can get that benefit, so that you can get that exchange. Cool. Where do they go next? Maybe you're sending them to a collection. Maybe you're going on your EverBee store and sending them to all of your sweatshirts instead of just the store link where they could get 20% off everything. Maybe you actually are a digital product seller and you have this awesome 2026 planner. So this incredible digital 2026 planner. And then you want to give them stickers. I'm just making this up as I go, but you want to give them stickers, or maybe you want to give them a year's worth to like Good Notes subscription, something like that. Like, you got to get them there. Maybe that's the upsell that you get them to spend even more money with you because yes, you got the person. Yes, you got the sale, but they got 20% off and they even got Good Notes subscription. Like that's 3 to 5 to 7 to 10 times more valuable than you getting the initial sale at a discounted rate and then you getting their email, right? So that's what this means is like, if we understand what we need to connect them to once they come in to our owned media space, it's going to make it so much easier for them and feel very naturally congruent. Like you are directing them where you want them to go. All right. So where to place owned traffic entry points. So when we talk about entry points, we talked a second ago about opt-ins, for example. So where to place these entry points? Bunch of different places you could do this. But again, product pages could be a good place to be like this sweatshirt. Here's a collection of all of our other sweatshirts in this niche. And then it sends them to the other sweatshirts. Or maybe there is something on the home page where, actually, I'll show you guys right now. I have an exact example of it. I'll show you my exact website. Okay, right here. So this is my website. So the thing was homepage, hero, or below the hero. So in my hero on my website, I hope you guys are seeing. Yes, you're seeing what I'm seeing. So in my homepage right here, this is the hero space on my website, the thing that's above the fold, which means like you don't have to scroll to see it. So it's right here. So watch free trainings. Where's that going to take them? It's going to take them directly to my YouTube channel. Okay, so they're going to be able to get immediate, instant value by literally just taking a quick look at the hero. So the very first thing that happens when they come to my website literally gives them value. And what does that value give me? Potentially a new YouTube subscriber, potentially a sale because people binged my YouTube videos and then they bought a course from me, right? So like, yeah, that's going to benefit me, but it's going to benefit them tenfold because I have over 100 videos to consume, right? So again, thinking about like I'm getting something, but they're getting that much more. And then when you do scroll below the fold, you're going to see immediately 3 free things. So these are downloadables. These are a custom GPT that I built that people can use, which is just like an AI system, like a AI personal assistant in a way. And then I also have this that is a bundle of multiple products. So all of these things are freebies that people are getting that make sense to them because they're my ideal customer and I know them like the back of my hand. So I know what they're struggling with. So I know what to give them to help solve those struggles, right? Since I know those things, I'm getting their email address, again, for potential retargeting on ads in the future, potential emails in the future, whatever it is. But then they're getting huge, huge value from me, right? So that's what I mean. Like I said, I wanted to show you an exact example. That's what I mean by like the homepage hero or below the hero. I actually did both. And I highly recommend if you have the capacity to do both as well. Blog post is also a really good thing where an entry point for something of benefit to your business could be. So let's say you're writing a blog about the top, I'm just making this up as I go, the top gifts to give mom this holiday season that she'll actually like and not just open. Like that's your blog title or your blog theme. And then you have a couple of things in there that are unrelated to your business. But then of course you throw in that charcuterie board that you handmade. And then you throw in that Christmas morning PJs family set that you used your print on demand supplier to make, right? So being able to pop those in there gets them again for you to own them, but potentially, of course, give your benefit as well. Content captions is another good one. I don't know if I have an exact example. I don't want to take too much of your guys' time today because I know we're already way over. But let me see. Oh yeah, I do have literally one right here. So that's perfect. Hold on one second. All right, so here's an example. This is a pinned post of mine. So it's very intentionally pinned because I want them to take an action. I'm calling them to comment the word magnet in this video so that I can send them my client magnet custom GPT. So then magnet. So that is 4 people that I got I got them to comment that word, that trigger word, that buzzword that now allows me to send them the opt-in form to get them in my owned media, because right now this is organic. They're in my organic media space, right? They are not owned yet because they're all just chilling right here on Instagram. that I don't own, right? So that's the difference is we are going to, let's share this tab instead. There we go. We are going to get them to do something that gives us that benefit, right? So of course, social link bios, or social bio links, excuse me, post-purchase emails, whatever. But the question here that you should be asking every single time you want to get someone into your owned media space is, what is the next best relationship to build with them here? So if they have the 20% off coupon, for example, what is the next best step to get them even more involved in your circle, to get them even more involved in your world? Maybe you send them an email the next day, checking on them to see if they use the coupon and giving them 3 of your best sellers as examples of what they can purchase. That's very simple. That's the next relationship. That's the next conversation, right? And again, guys, I'm literally just coming up with these things on the spot, on the fly. So it's very, very, very natural for me because I have been doing it actively for years. At the beginning, it was not easy whatsoever. I did not know what the heck I was doing at all. But like I said, books like this right here, Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller, books like that, watching an insane amount of YouTube videos, and then doing the actual actions. That is the best way that I could ever say you guys are going to get the confidence you need and get the systems you need and build the flows that make sense for you so that in a year from now, you're able to host this live stream and you're able to communicate everything I'm saying effortlessly because it's super natural, not supernatural. It is super natural for your brand because you do it all day, every day. All right. The last thing for today is just to kind of let you guys know why owned traffic is beneficial. And again, I want to bring up my example from earlier. I made the decision, I think I might regret this one day, I'm not sure, but I made the decision for my business, which was really, really freaking hard to do, to get off of social media in full as an income or lead driver. So I used to use social media all the time, every single day, 10 times a day, multiple platforms, short form and long form. And it was a lead generator for me, but it was also an income driver. In 2025, at the end of the year, I realized that out of my income that I received for the year, only like 13% of it came from social media. So I was spending 80% of my time working on platforms that were driving me 13% of my revenue. And I always say numbers tell a story, and that story did not make freaking sense. So now I am using social media as a place for community, as a place for encouragement, empowerment, education, like we're doing today. It's not a place where I feel pressured. It's not a place where I have to show up or else my business fails. And like I said, I might regret that choice later. But right now, it feels freaking awesome to not have to do that because I own my people now. I can literally hit my income goal, which is large. It's in the, 5 figures mark every single month. In the multiple 6 figures annually. I can hit that with just my owned media, which is insane. So I really, really hope that you guys are seeing that owned media is way more important than organic or paid because we have the ability to leave the organic and paid one day once we build the owned. Okay. So I wanted to spend time today beating this dead horse a million times so that we can then make a very strategic strategy for organic and paid next week with the goal of driving home to owned media. Okay. Hope that makes sense. Yes, owned media is slower than going viral, but from my experience, going viral did not get me paid. I did a little bit. I got influencer deals, but like that was it. And then you had to like hope to God that your next video went viral too. And if it didn't, they didn't want to work with you anymore. Right. So owned media that is your baby in your world and your sphere of influence is what's going to pay you consistently every single month. So with that said, guys, I'm going to stop sharing. I know we are way over time today. I really appreciate all 35 of you that are still hanging out with me today. I'm going to go to the comments real fast and see if we have any questions about owned media. If you have to hop off before the live Q&A, by all means. Uh, Someone just said, I want you to be my coach. You're so sweet. I do not coach on Etsy. I only do that on EverBee. So I am your coach today. I am a free coach every single Thursday and Tuesday. If you need any other assistance, feel free to reach out to me anytime at Evolution Designs. Do we need to get in somewhere? I'm lost. I'm not sure what you mean. Candy Zay, I apologize for your confusion, but you can find the document that we went through today in the description of this video. So you can always go through that. Janae said, you're amazing, Leslie. You can have all my time. You're so funny. Kamala, how do you decide where to send them if you have an Etsy store and a website with same or similar products? Kamala, that is an incredible question. And Kamala's like, I want to own my peoples. Absolutely. So the good news is on your website, those sales are owned media. You own those people, which granted, if God forbid something happens in your EverBee store, your Squarespace, your Shopify, whatever gets shut down, then yeah, that would suck. But you still own those people. You still have the transactional emails that they gave you or whatever. Like you still own them. So the best answer is if you can get people to a website and sales are actually taking place on the website, that's where you want to push people to because you own them. The second best answer is if you want to test your website versus your Etsy store, I highly recommend because maybe you're trying to figure out if paying for your website's domain is worth it in 2027 next year. Maybe you want to see if your website is high converting, if it's got a good user experience, then it's a really good idea to actually send people to both of them for 30 to 60 days and see which pieces of content did best and where did it go? Which coupons did best and which things did they go to, whether it be the Etsy store or the website. So that's almost an A/B test that I would highly recommend for your business. The third thing I would say, though, is what we can do on Etsy if we're trying to drive traffic to get them to be owned media. What I would do immediately, if you could do this, is go build something that allows you to own people from Etsy. So that would be like an EverBee email opt-in form or whatever it is that you want to own their email addresses or you want to own the conversation with them rather than relying on Etsy. I would go to your Etsy store and I would put it in your banner. I would put it in your shop announcement. I would put it in your product listings that basically gets them into your circle. So then now you don't have to worry about where should I send them because your Etsy store is actually doing the work for both places because your Etsy store has that opt-in form, which allows you to get their email, which allows you to put them into your owned media, which allows you then to promote your website through email marketing, right? So it can be a little funnel in itself. So I hope that helps answer your question. I'm going to rewatch with my business journal and recapture all of this. That's awesome, Janae. I'm so glad. All right, guys, like I said, we are super, super over time. I do got to hop because I do have an 11:30, but I'm going to take a quick little sip of my water and give anybody else a quick moment. If you have any last minute questions for me, feel free to drop them in the live chat. If you come back and watch this, because this was a longer one than we're used to, if you come back and watch this and have more questions for me, feel free, drop them in the comments below. And I am the one that personally responds to all of those. So wet my whistle real quick. Check the live chat, see if anybody needs anything else. And if not, we'll be good to go for the day. You're so welcome. Real Kayak Fishing. I said, thank you. You're so welcome. All right. Well, I don't see anything else in here. If I do see something come through, I'll be sure to respond to it in the comments. But thank you guys so much for being here. This is, as you can probably tell, where I get my energy from is being able to give you guys all of the stuff to actually build your business instead of just make money, because you can't skip all the other steps before we get to the money making. But once you get all of these things, guys, it is going to make you more money than you could ever imagine. So hope you enjoyed today's conversation. I hope I see you back next Thursday. That is going to be part 2 of this, where we are going to dive into the more sexy stuff, organic paid media, and how to get current customers to pay you again and again. Okay. So until then, I will see you next Thursday. And I hopefully will also see you next Tuesday on our EverBee Done For You store tutorial as well. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.